Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. Well, I'm here to do another tag video, and the tag video this time is the Sword and Sorcery Tag video. Now this tag was created by Leo over at Geek Legion of Doom. If you want to see his original tag video, head over there and watch that. Now he has 10 questions based on the sword and sorcery genre. A genre that he thinks, and I actually agree, has not had a lot of love over the last few years, and it was rife in the 80s after the popularity of Conan, etc. And it's just, you don't really see much of sword and sorcery movies these days, and the ones you do see usually bury without a trace. So I do think it's a genre we should talk about and encourage, because it's a genre that I grew up on in the 80s and was a direct result in, me falling in love with movies, especially after watching the Conan stuff. So there's 10 questions, and at the end I'll see if I'm going to tag anybody. I might leave this one open because it's quite a specific tag as this one, but we shall get started. So the first question is, what is my favourite sword and sorcery movie? Well, there's been loads of good ones, and like I said, there were so many good ones in the 80s, so many rubbish ones, but one that were so good they were so bad they were good, sort of thing. My favourite sword and sorcery movie, and well, I understand it's not the best, is Conan the Destroyer, and for a very specific reason. It was the first Arnold Schwarzenegger film I saw. I'd never seen a physique like that before in my life, and that's what encouraged me to start going to the gym and start bodybuilding at a young age. And that was my first introduction to Arnold Schwarzenegger, Conan the Destroyer, and my first introduction to the character of Conan. Fell in love with Conan. Every time I play like an RPG on my PlayStation, I always call myself Conan. I try and model my character on Conan. I'm a huge fan of Conan stuff, really, and so my answer is Conan the Destroyer, even though I acknowledge that it's not as good as Conan the Barbarian, but it's my favourite sword and sorcery film. It's the one I have the most affection for. The worst sword and sorcery movie I've seen. Like I said, there were a lot of pretty bad ones in the 80s and 90s. To be honest, the only one that springs to mind, and I'm not sure you could class it as sword and sorcery, there was a film called Valhalla Rising with Mads Mikkelsen. I'm not even sure how long ago it is, maybe, I don't know, 6-7 years ago, that I watched. I remember buying it and watching it, and I thought it was absolute bilge, utter rubbish. And he kind of plays like this Viking character that, I don't know, it was rubbish. It was really, really rubbish. It was certainly swords, but I'm not sure about the sorcery. I blocked out most of it. But I really, really didn't like that film, Valhalla Rising. So that's the only one that springs to mind for the worst sword and sorcery movie I've seen. There were some pretty bad ones, like I say, in the 80s and 90s, but you still quite enjoyed them. I think I do remember the Rolf Muller made a Conan film in the 90s that was turned into a brief TV show. That was pretty rubbish as well, from what I remember. The third question: if I could pick 4 sword and sorcery movie characters to go on a quest with you, who would I pick? Well, definitely Conan, number 1 pick. You need the muscle, that's Conan. I would pick Gandalf because you need a wizard. Same again when I play RPG games. If you can have people in your crew sort of thing on these games, I usually have like, a warrior, Conan, a wizard because you need someone to do the spells and things. I'd probably have Beastmaster as well, because that would probably be useful, being able to talk to animals and control them. So I'd probably have Beastmaster. And my 4th one is a bit of a cheat because he's not a movie character. Well, not yet. It's going to be in a TV series soon. Is Geralt from The Witcher. I would definitely have him on board. Very, very skilled warrior, hunter, tracker, all the rest of it. So he'd be really, really useful. So that would be my 4 people on a quest. You can pick any weapon from a sword and sorcery movie. What do you pick? Well, there's 2. I've just recently been to Halicon, which is a very, very small version of Comic Con in Halifax, where I live. And there was a stall there that sold like movie weapons and things, and they had some absolute, proper replicas of like Conan swords, And they actually had Geralt's sword from The Witcher as well there, a couple of versions of that. And there was something like £200 each sort of thing, but they were outstanding. I wish I could have bought one. I'm thinking about saving up next year to get one. So for me it would have to be one of those two, I think. Conan's sword or Geralt's sword from The Witcher. What Sword and Sorcery IP needs a reboot or a remake? Again, I'm going to say Conan. Mainly because the Jason Momoa version of Conan, which I've got here, is not terrible. But I remember when that was announced at the time, while I was disappointed Arnold wasn't in it, and he's been threatening to do another Conan for years, like obviously an aging Conan, I was excited that Conan was coming back, and then it came out and it kind of sank without a trace, and there's no escaping it. Jason Momoa's performance as Conan was a bit of a disappointment. So for me, Conan. I'd love to see Conan back, and given the respect it deserves, whether it be Arnie or somebody else, but go for it. Don't hold back. Give us an R-rated Conan, not some timid version, and really give us the gore and everything. And I think it'd be popular. What is your favourite Sword and Sorcery TV show? Like you said, Leo, most people are going to say Game of Thrones, and I'm no different. It has to be Game of Thrones, because it's just so good, and that's the main Sword and Sorcery show that I've been watching over the last few years. In fact, the only one. However, saying that, I am really excited for the Netflix Witcher TV series this year. Really excited, with Henry Cavill as Geralt. I'm hoping that's going to be really good. With a few exceptions, Sword and Sorcery is traditionally one of the most un-PC genres. Where do I see this going, or what would you like to see? I just like people to be brave with the genre, and give us a proper full-on Sword and Sorcery movie without worrying about being PC, because people will forgive it if it's done properly. You can still have strong female characters in there, but still have it sexualized. You can still have all the gore and the violence. Look what Deadpool got away with. You can still do it. It just needs a brave filmmaker to do it. So I just think someone needs to be brave, and all it will take is one big hit, and then the genre will take off again. And that's all it will take. But it's going to take brave filmmaking to do it. But also, the Sword and Sorcery genre has actually been thriving in the gaming market, and I'll give you examples. Skyrim, amazing Sword and Sorcery game. The Witcher 3, in my opinion, the best game I've ever played. Sword and Sorcery. You've got Dragon Age games, the Final Fantasy games. If you're starving and you're really missing Sword and Sorcery stuff, you need to get back into gaming, because there's some brilliant Sword and Sorcery games out there that arguably are more immersive than movies anyway. So it is thriving in the gaming industry, but it's not in the movie and TV industry. Do I have any special editions releases of Sword and Sorcery movies or merchandise that you love? I don't actually. I don't really collect merchandise and stuff. As I've mentioned previously on the channel, I used to have, and I'll show you this because I found it the other day while I was having a bit of a sort out. I thought I'd thrown it away. You can't. That was like my poster for when I had my store. I used to have a movie store that sold movie memorabilia, box sets, toys, autographs, film cells, and that was like one of my posters that I had outside the shop. Yeah. So I used to have loads of merchandise for movies and things, and I did have in the shop at one point like an autographed Conan picture for my Arnold Schwarzenegger and things like that. So I have had them in previously, but I don't personally collect merchandise now. So I don't really have anything like that. Obviously I've got quite a few, Blu-rays and Sword and Sorcery type stuff. That film, by the way, Your Highness, is a brilliant parody of Sword and Sorcery movies. If you've never seen it, guys, you must watch that one. Danny McBride comedy. So no, I don't really have any merchandise. But hopefully in the future I might get one of them swords. I've just remembered that. What Hollywood actor would you cast as He-Man or She-Ra in a live-action movie? That's really, or She-Ra in a live-action. That's really difficult. Who's got the physicality out there to be He-Man? There's only a select few actors. The only one I can think of, and I'm not saying it's the perfect choice, is because I think he'd look ridiculous in a blonde wig, is John Cena. He's got the physicality for it. I don't think you need to be the greatest actor to be He-Man. Look at Dolph Lundgren when he did it. But I think he would give it the right amount of cheese and tongue-in-cheek, because he's quite good at that sort of thing, John Cena, in his acting. He's quite talented at the comedies. He's done a few comedies. So I think he would give it the necessary tongue-in-cheek that it would require, that film. So I think he's got a physicality, but like I said, I think he'd look ridiculous in a blonde wig. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm not sure it would be the right choice. But saying that, Henry Cavill looks ridiculous in his Geralt wig as well a bit. So, and the final question, I don't think I missed anything. What is your favourite on-screen dragon, TV or movie? Well, nothing massively springs to mind here. However, I've always had an affection for Draco from the Dragonheart film, the one that Sean Connery voiced. I just thought it was voiced expertly by Sean Connery, that film, and it was a really brilliant dragon, and quite an underrated film, I think. So I'm going to go for Draco in Dragonheart, even though there are a lot of others out there that you could pick. So I think I've answered everything there. Let me just double check. Yes, I think so. So that's my Sword and Sorcery Tag answers. I hope you found them interesting. I think, after thinking about it, I think I am going to leave this tag open for anybody who wants to do it, who watches this, because it's quite a specific genre. And you might not be a fan of the genre, you might not have enough knowledge about the genre. But yeah, I'm going to leave it open. So thank you for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time on Screen Stars.